And I give the floor now to a representative of United Nations Watch.
Thank you, Mr. President. We meet to address urgent human rights situations. There are many, but if we look to the highest authorities of the UN, one country stands out, the Islamic Republic of Iran. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security, but the illicit nuclear program of President Ahmadinejad potentially threatens these rights for millions near and far. That's why the Security Council, acting under Chapter 7 against threats to the peace, held Iran to be in breach and imposed sanctions. The Iranian leader speaks at the UN about, quote, human dignity and justice, yet the UN itself, GA Resolution 61/176, found that Iran treats its own people with neither dignity nor justice. It called on Iran to end its use of torture and cruel, inhuman, and degrading punishment, to end its execution of minors, its violence and discrimination against women, to end its discrimination against minorities, including Arabs, Azeris, Baluchis, Kurds, Christians, Jews, Sufis, Sunni Muslims, and the Baha'i. Mr. President, Iran's policy of racism was on world display when it hosted the Tehran conference denying the Nazi Holocaust. The GA responded with a condemnation of Holocaust denial, which Iran alone refused to support. This council's expert on racism said the following, quote, by organizing this conference, President Ahmadinejad demonstrated his intention to legitimize the revisionism of other forms of racism by inviting symbolic figures of anti-black racism, such as the Ku Klux Klan, whose main platform is the racial inferiority of black people and the need for their physical elimination, end quote. But it's worse. Iran's president not only denies genocide, but he incites to genocide. When he first threatened to, quote, wipe Israel off the map, he was condemned by Kofi Annan and the Security Council. When he called for the, quote, destruction of the Zionist regime, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon expressed his shock and dismay. Dr. Hamburg, an advisor to the Secretary General on genocide, said that he could not recall anyone, quote, since Hitler, who so repeatedly and explicitly called for genocide, and he warned of the combustible conjunction of this with nuclear weapons capability. Mr. President, does the UN have an answer for a government that tramples human rights, promotes racism, denies the Holocaust, incites to genocide, and threatens international peace? It does. Under Article 6 of the UN Charter, a country that persistently violates the Charter's principles may be expelled. And the correct answer for a government leader who commits such acts is not an invitation to a UN podium and global platform. It is the response recommended by Nobel laureate and UN Messenger of Peace, Elie Wiesel, the indictment of President Ahmadinejad under the Genocide Convention. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for your statement.